Good afternoon, Eimear, and thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to get involved in Business Owner Spotlight this week. Go ahead, introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about what you do.
Brilliant. Thank you very, very much, Scott. I really appreciate firstly being on here, and I have gotten so much value from the different people that have been on here and the videos that I have seen them do. So hopefully I can do justice as much as they did. So my name is Eimear Gourley. I suppose also known as NI Property Girl on social media, something that I branded myself, which I'm sure we'll touch on in a little while. I am involved in the property investment arena. So what I do is I help people who are interested in property, more so than want to become a landlord. I help them to basically, they dream it up. They think I want to be a landlord. I want to own a property. I go and do every single thing that they need in order to have that house. I do it all for them. Along with 100 other things, but that's pretty much our service, is to help make property investment more achievable and accessible to people in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, so there's people who have already decided this is a path they want to go on, and you just enable them to go faster. Is that a fair way to say it?
100%. So we are not a financial advisor. We are not a financial planner. So if you come to me and say, should I do crypto? Should I put my money into banking? Don't come to me with those questions. I am here when you decide, or when you've been told or guided towards property as another form of income. Maybe it's because you have so much money that you've already maxed out your pension and you have all these other things. Great problem to have. Yeah. Or people who have just that desire. They've always watched Homes Under the Hammer. They've always thought, I want to do it. I love it. And maybe they've started it, they've tried it, or they've got scared and they haven't done it. So it's people who they've got the money there and they just don't know what to do with it. We basically have an option for everything that you need. So whether you want it, literally, we will do it for you. So it's our done for you service. We will agree on how much money it is that you're looking to invest, what the return is that you're looking, and then we will go do the viewings, do all the due diligence. We will make sure that the property that we are giving you has had everything looked upon in terms of financial input and a financial output. So you know what you're going to be generating on a monthly basis. We'll help then arrange the likes of mortgage brokers, solicitors, surveyors, letting agents. If you're looking to then maybe sell another house or whatever, could be possibly estate agents as well. So we know that when we were looking to start investing, that finding the right people and knowing who was the specialist in those areas was really hard. So that's where we're here to literally signpost you to each one. Then we'll help you through the refurbishment, which we find that's a big thing, a big area that puts people off. So right, find me the house, that's great. Then what do you do with it? I don't really know a painter, I don't know a plumber. Can you give me a house that doesn't really need anything done to it? But I want, and there's all these wants everywhere. So it's like, look, tell us really what the point is and we'll sort everything in behind it. So it really is a done for you service. So we'll get it right to the point where it's ready to go on the market for rental. We'll even work with the letting agent. Any issues with that, we'll make sure all that's sorted as well. So we're like your fairy godmother. That sorts everything for you.
What I'm getting there is, somebody who has no experience in developing property, and you will do it all for them, or just be basically their safety net.
Pretty much. Any question, and sometimes it's as much as knowing the properties that you need to walk away from as well. So we would go through a lot of properties, but very quickly we say, no, not for us, not for us, not for us. Rather than what I know what a lot of people do is that they would look at a house and think, oh, that's great. How can I make that work? Okay, if I add a wee bit more money, okay, I can afford it. And that's something that we really try to discourage people away from. Looking at a house and seeing how you can make your budget fit it. It's like, no, you set your budget, you set your parameters. How much you want to spend. It's an investment at the end of the day. How much you want to spend, that's your max. And what's your return? And if the house doesn't fit into that box, then the house isn't for you. You move on. And that's how we take the emotion out of it all.
I want to say, so you're applying logic where there's too much emotion.
Yes, if you're an estate agent, you're dealing with people's, I need to feel the house. I need to know that the neighbours are lovely and I can hear a dog. we're really not interested in that. We do our due diligence based on, is it a good area for rental? Is it going to grow in value now and in the future? What type of tenants are going to be in there? We look at all the rent, like everything you can think of, we look at it, but just not, does it feel nice when you walk in? Really
So
not.
essentially you could nearly buy the house without going to see it then?
Yeah, I would say realistically 90% of our clients don't ever see the property.
That's maybe better, is it? Because they don't get a chance to fall in love and the emotion doesn't come then?
Yeah, so some of them, like a lot of the people we work with, they're busy. And that's mainly the reason that they want us to get involved. They're business owners. We've worked with a lot of like accountants or the people who are self-employed, and they don't want to go and learn property because it sounds easy. But just go and buy one and put a tenant in it. But there's so many variables, and they know that there's so much risk in it. So they are busy building what they love. That's why they've gotten into business in the first place. They want to focus on them, building their client base, like focusing everything on their family, themselves, and their clients. They don't want to have to worry about that. So as long as they see all the boxes ticked, everything's been done, all the checks have been done, you know, the mortgage survey's been done, maybe a full house survey, the solicitor's been through the house. That's why you get other people. You leverage other people's expertise.
Yes.
And that's what business owners, and that tends to be a lot of the people that we work with, people who they appreciate the value of their time and they appreciate the freedom that handling stuff like this over to other people allows them to do.
Yeah, they can be over here doing what they're doing well, making more money, pay you to be over here being an expert in this area for them.
100%. So you've got those types of people, and then you've got the people who are just worried. They're the risk averse. Either they've done it before and it's gone wrong, or they're surrounded by family members and friends who tell them that property is a terrible idea, but they just know it's something they want to get into. Sure. So then we said, right, let's kind of help and guide you through that. And it is an education process for them, but more than anything, it's knowing that once you take control, it's you not just taking control of your property, it's you taking control of your life to say, no, I'm not listening to other people who are not in that space. I'm going to go and kind of find out from the people who are doing it and like figure out how to do it properly, basically. So
yeah. So it sounds amazing, and it just it seems to be a really, like, there's a big resurgence of people getting involved in property, and obviously we can see people like yourself on social media and that popularity of that growing. So just behind you there, I can see an iProperty girl on the wall, and I'd be keen to talk about that. So what was it made you get into business for yourself in the first place?
So it's not that it was accidental, but it's not what I started out to do. So I'm a civil engineer by trade. That's my background. And I worked in the construction industry for 10 years and I loved it. I loved project management. I loved the hustle and bustle, building something up, seeing the change and the change that it makes in the community and everything else. I really loved it. So it was never really my intention to leave my job. But what was my intention was to get into property, buy a buy-to-let, you know, kind of build up that portfolio and have that as my side and something else to kind of put my focus into. So then I said, right, my husband and I started to kind of educate ourselves on it. And then we said, do you know what? Once we got enough education on it, we said, how many people were us? If we just had our third child, the two of us working full time, we were looking for other people to kind of do this for us, take the risk away from us. And we said, well, if we can do that for us, how many other people can we do that for? And that's where the research started to come in. And then we said, right, and bearing in mind, when we did this, it was literally the start of COVID. I had just had my third child, so I was on maternity anyway. We were all sitting at home, and I thought, well, like, why not? So by the time I come back,
sounds a perfect time just to have a major life change.
It sounds terrible, but I think like COVID was like kind of a great thing that happened to me because it gave me the pause. And what I was very conscious of was not like every child I had, sounds like I've had like 10 children, but every time I had a child and I went off maternity leave, I felt as though I was taking a step back. And whenever I came back into the workplace, other people had kind of grown that wee bit. Sure. So then it happened again. And then I said, I'm not doing this again. I'm not coming off my third maternity leave. I'm being pushed back to the bottom of the rung. It's not happening. So that fueled with an idea and then with the education and then the time, it was like the perfect storm of saying, look, let's give it a go. So I did that. I started the business, and it was just Eimear and Kego Investments, which is my business name, which is all the initials of my husband, myself, and Kego. So Kieran, Eimear, Emily, Grace, and Ollie.
Okay.
Kego, which also is a key and go, get the keys and go. All the stuff that I thought was really important, but it doesn't matter, right? So when you're starting a business and you're like, the name is everything, I'm going to spend 3 months figuring out that nobody cares. Nobody cares what you call your name or what you call yourself. Nope. It's about what can you deliver, what service and what problem are you fixing for other people. So I thought this was so important. But anyway, so I was doing this. Then when I went back off maternity leave, I was working 9 to 5, and then kind of in the evenings, the weekends, days off, I was trying to fit around, kind of looking at properties, renovating properties, trying to get clients, like do it all. And there came a point then, 1.5 years after I started, where I said, I can't do it all. My work, my civil engineering work is getting really busy. Yeah. My own business is getting really busy. One of them has to just go. Mm-hmm. And I thought, right, I've always only ever seen myself as a civil engineer. That was like, hi, I'm Eimear and I'm a civil engineer. Like that was like it. That was my identity. So to say to myself, no, that's not you anymore, it was really difficult. But I thought, this is an opportunity that I don't ever think I'm going to get again. And if I don't do this now, I'm basically saying I have no confidence in myself. Yeah. I don't feel as though I'll ever have the ability to go out. You know, the job that I have is basically like a civil service for life. Your pension's set. No one ever leaves this type of work. And that's the fear. You think, at the end of every day, I have to make sure that I have a client to pay the bills. And it's really, really scary. But I had the confidence in myself, and I kind of always knew in the back of my head that fall back, which you don't like to think about, that I could always just go back into that line of work. So it's not forever. If it doesn't work, I've given it a shot. But more than anything else, what I learned about myself over that year was that I have just so much more to give. I have so much more of a portfolio of me than just Eimear, the civil engineer. So that's basically how business started. It was knowing that you aren't what you set out to be. When you come out of uni and this is you, like that's your lane. It's like, well, hold on a minute, this looks kind of good. Could that be me? So what I found with my project management was that actually that is so variable. So it went from project managing like multi-million-pound construction projects in the wastewater industry to like £5,000 like renovation in a house. And my brain was going, you're £20 over. What are you doing? Rather than, okay, that's a claim of 80,000. Is it justifiable? It's totally different, but it's the same principles. Yeah. And that's where I got my comfort from. So I would always say to anybody who's starting out or who's already in business is just because you're new, and this is where social media started with me. When I started on LinkedIn, I never had LinkedIn before I started the business because I thought I'm in a job, what I need LinkedIn for? Which again, so wrong. If you're in a job, you need to be on LinkedIn. So the big thing was whenever I started, I was coming on, but it was new for me to say, I knew the property. And it was almost like wiping the slate clean. But I said, no, I have this entire history of me. So instead of me starting to be like, hi guys, I knew you, it's, hi guys, I have this whole history behind me. I'm on a different journey right now. Come with me. Yeah. So using my experience from the last 10 years to propel me as a person, that then started me posting on social media every day. I was really scared at the start because I didn't do social media. I was just putting like words out there. It was okay to type words and let them, they went. Just talking about a story. And then I thought, right, words are okay, but like people don't know it's me because you read stuff all day long, and if you don't see a face, sometimes it's hard to remember who it was you were reading about. So I said, right, okay, my pictures aren't great, like they're not great quality, they're maybe of me just out and about, but I started to put pictures on, and in the meantime I went and got professional ones done. But once then I did that, I thought, okay, there's no personality there, people could read that how they're feeling. So I said, right, I need to get behind camera, because my thing always was, if I can get in front of someone, I can convince them because of my like enthusiasm and kind of love for stuff. So I said, right, that's then the scary part of video started. Kind of in between that, I was just Eimear Gourley, Ego Investments director. Like, again, it means nothing to anybody. So if you're on LinkedIn, and that's where a lot of your your profile would be as well, as going, if you look at your contacts and it just say director and what? It's almost like an ego thing to say I'm the boss. But that's not helping your clients at all.
After that, what problem do you solve?
Yeah, so now my husband came to me one day and he just went, it was just this like, oh my gosh, you should call yourself NI Property Girl. And I was like, don't be ridiculous. I feel like I've been doing this for 5 minutes. How can I call myself that? And it was that complete imposter syndrome of everybody else has been in the property industry for 10, 20, 70 years. We'll be like, who does she think she is? And it actually took me a wee bit of time to get over that. And I thought, yeah, who do I think I am? I think I'm somebody who's going to make a difference because I see where I'm going, not where I've come from. So it was that balance between I either sit here and worry about what everybody in this sector that is new to me thinks about me, or I continue on my path to provide a service to people who aren't in the sector, that want to get into the sector, that it's not there for them. So, and that's where NI Property Girl was born. So now it's NI Property Girl, and people don't even know my name now. They're like, oh, you're NI Property Girl? I'm like, it's Eimear. I have a name. It's real. I do have a name.
So basically, a lot of what you're saying is just talking about being outside your comfort zone. You know, you didn't sit where you're comfortable. You've pushed yourself, and the imposter syndrome is outside your comfort zone, and that's going outside your comfort zone is what's grown you to where you are now. So I suppose the question I would ask is, what if you were to go back and do it again, given everything you've learned? Is there anything you would do differently?
To be honest, I actually don't know. Sometimes I ask myself, would I do it again if I knew what was ahead of me? And I think,
it's a fair question.
The reason I say that is because of the exponential growth. If you said to me 3 years ago, by the way, you're going to be doing this and you're going to be doing that, and I would say, no, I can't. How do I go from here to here in such a short space of time? And it would just totally freak me out. And that's where having all those tiny little steps continuously in between and continually putting yourself outside your comfort zone. So I think if I went back, I don't see a part of what I did that I would do differently. In fact, I would maybe just do more. I would be more brazen. I would put bigger goals out there. It's the only thing. But I still believe if I went back, I would be in that, oh, but that goal's too big. Okay, well, just break it down. Just do something every day that scares you. And I know it sounds so cliche, but it's so true.
So the other thing that I'm thinking is, you talked about how your skills were transferable, and your big wins have come from your mindset. So it's not been skill set, it's been mindset that have given you success. So what sort of things did you do to overcome, say, imposter syndrome, for example?
So I suppose to go back as well, I always go back because people say, oh, it's all right for you, but it's not okay for me because I wasn't that type of person.
Sure.
Only like 3 years ago, I was of the scarcity mindset of, well, there's not enough for other people. Well, if I don't, that's mine, and all of this, like, not negativity, but it is negative when you think about it. You don't believe that there's enough for everybody. You don't believe that maybe you're good enough as well. So whenever you look at the mindset part of it, to me, it was honestly surrounding myself with other people that were of this mindset. You can't, there's always that saying, you are kind of the makeup of the 5 people around you. So
it's brutal, but it's true, isn't it?
It is, and it's hard. And I literally sat down and I wrote down the people I spend more time with, and I said, like, do I want to be them? No. Do I want to be them? Not really. So, well, their mindset is mine. Because if I try to, for example, you're out for dinner with them and you start to talk about, oh, here, I'm thinking about doing this entrepreneur thing. Why would you do that? You've got a good pension. Why would you? And then you go, okay. And you go back into your box because that's where your kind of circle is telling you to stay. So working on your mindset is almost something that you can't just say, I'm working on my mindset. It's this process. But one thing, we were obviously in the middle of lockdown, and my mindset shift was the biggest thing that happened for me. So I didn't physically have to be with people, but what I really loved were like audiobooks and podcasts, because now my friends were like Grant Cardone. And like Grant Cardone's my friend. Because he's talking to me all day long. And I think like, you know, I'm talking back to him, but you're not really. But it's that you're surrounding yourself with all of these people who've been there, done that, who are giving you the motivation, the positivity, telling you where it's going to be hard. So by you surrounding yourself with them, even like just in your own head, it's really big. So starting with that and then going out and meeting people, it's really hard, because something again that I always thought was, okay, you know, if I'm in mid-20s, who I know is who I know. You know, I play hockey, so they're kind of my hockey people. You know, I go to work, they're my work people. How do you meet these types of people? I want to change my friendship group. I want to, like, how? It's always that. It sounds so easy. Just go and change the people you work with. But I'm not. But how? It's always that. How do I do it? And that's where I couldn't believe how many people, when I got started on property, I was on Zoom to people every single day, every night, just talking about, we were both in this journey. So whoever I was talking to was in a journey of wanting to meet other people. So it's trying to get yourself into a circle, whether it is property or whether it's fitness or whether it's just your niche. There are these, even if it's just business, like you have a fantastic community yourself built up. So it's like, go on, and it's not expecting everything to happen straight away. Your mindset doesn't change, your friendship group doesn't change, your life doesn't change. It's going along, sitting in the back being really awkward at one of these events. At least you're there. The next time you'll be slightly less awkward, you might talk to somebody. It's just turning up. And that's what we feel is really important, that you just surround yourself with people, and then their positivity gets your positivity, your problems are helped 100%, definitely.
And so basically now you're fairly well established, and business is kind of stable. What do you see as the next 3 to 5 years? How's that look, and what do you think are the biggest challenges going forward?
Do you know what is really scary is to think 3 years ahead. I think if I've done what I've done in 3 years, where does the next 3 years take me? It's hard. So our mission when we started was to kind of make property investment accessible to all in Northern Ireland. And one of the things I'd said back, I had to be a while ago, was that I wanted to become like the face of property in Northern Ireland. But it wasn't like my face, if you know what I mean. It was more the girl next door, the mum, the wife, the girl that's on the school PTA. It's totally giving other people confidence to actually take control of their life. And
so
that's
they maybe see themselves in you, sort of thing.
100%. Like I am just regular. I do the school run. I get to pick my kids up from school. Like I am normal. I'm maybe slightly on a different scale. And that's our mission, is to get so many people to just be more confident with themselves. We've started our mentoring group, which is great. And one woman that's on it, she said, look, I just don't know. And she'd gone through every possible reason why this is not for her, and I don't have the time and all of this. And I said, look, if you don't take this opportunity now to do this, you're not. And to me, yes, it sounds salesy, right? But the point was that I was saying, if you don't take this opportunity now for yourself to come on to work with us, to change your mindset, to change your kind of how you see what you can do, you're basically, you're just going to go back in yourself, and that's another opportunity that you have missed to actually change yourself. And that's what we want. We want people to go, I can do it, be uncomfortable, step outside their comfort zone and go, do you know what? I actually could do it. Okay, what else can I do? And then it's women who are going, right, well, if I show my kids I'm doing this, well then happy days. Or I just think that there's so much more to property than is money. And property isn't money, it's freedom. It's freedom of choice. And how can you implement that in your life? And then just start to kind of get around the different people that are going to help you do even more for yourself. So the next 3 to 5 years, I just don't know. We are doing a lot with like landlords, so to become kind of the the hub of landlords in Northern Ireland. So whether you're looking to buy or looking to sell, a lot of the houses that we buy are from landlords who are kind of either exiting the market for one reason or the other. Maybe their tenants are still in their house, so they don't want to put it on the market. So then we would say, well, we've got a wannabe landlord who take over your tenant and kind of keep the situation going. So that's something that it's not something that's out there as a service that people can just go to and feel comfortable that, it's landlord is going to keep the tenants on. They know what they're doing. We've already done the due diligence, and it's kind of a much easier, slick process. So that's one thing that we want to do. But to be honest, it's just doing more of what we're doing. So as well as doing the done for you service, we also then started the mentoring. So that's for people who are going to either want to do what you do, or most of it is I just want to learn so I can do it myself.
So it's like
over and over.
the opposite end. It's like the opposite of done for you.
Yes, so it's I'm going to teach you and I'm going to show you. You're going to go do it. You're going to come back and ask questions. You're going to do it and come back. And that's been brilliant. So we had our first group went for 8 weeks, and that was brilliant just to see the change in the guys. Again, they didn't know each other. They were trying to talk to people in their own groups and nobody was listening. The minute we all came together, it was like, oh my gosh, I can talk to you about stuff that sounds so ridiculous to others. And now they're working together. And now then the second group that we've got on at the minute, it's the same type of thing. It's just putting people outside their comfort zone. So that's the mentor. And then we also had like it's just an online course. I say it's just an online course. It's ridiculous. It's like 40 modules. It sounds a lot, but it's bite-sized chunks for people that really understand the property market. And there's a heavy focus on Northern Ireland as well, because I feel that a lot of people go to England, Scotland, Wales, whatever, to get educated. But there's so much here that we can do. So it's just getting people to understand finance here is different, the conveyancing is different, the prices are different. So all of that. So that's something that we offer as well. What else? We did events. So we've also got, we started our first, so we were doing events previously, but they were very based on entrepreneurship. And again, I was like, where are these people? Okay, I'll just create an event and they'll come to me. And now we're all of the same mindset.
Yeah.
So with the property events, it's very networking focused. With property, you're not allowed to come to the room and not talk.
Okay.
You will leave that room and you will make sure, like everyone that came to our last event was like, I've never been to a networking event before. This is really scary. I said, don't be worrying, we'll go easy. First 5 minutes. If you're new, stand up. And they were like, oh my God, I said, stand up. I'm being serious, stand up. And by the end of it, they were like, this is amazing. I loved it. So we're just really trying to empower as many people as we can to just take action.
The big thing I'm taking from listening to you, talking to you, is that people fall into the trap of getting in their own way. And I think what you've done really well is just get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And just let the people come to you and have the good conversations and actually believe that you can do it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's getting out of your own way and getting out of your own head. Like,
yeah.
I constantly second guess myself. I constantly, should I do this? Can I do this? Whatever. And it's like, well, yes, whether it works or not, it's totally different. Yeah. But it's, if you believe it, and what is that saying? If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. So if you don't have the belief, funny, I saw a video yesterday on whatever social channel, and it said, like, if you type into Google, is salt bad for your heart? You will be shown every video that salt is bad for your heart. This is a terrible example, but anyway, if you typed in, is salt good for your heart? You will be shown every video that shows that salt is good for your heart. Yeah. And your brain is exactly the same. If you think, oh, there's nothing out there for me, it's all doom and gloom, it's all negative, that is what you will see. If you think there's so much opportunity, there's so many people, that is what you'll see. So it's hard to shift it, but when you shift it, you can't go back. It's really hard to put yourself back in that box again.
Yeah, it's that abundant mindset instead of scarcity mindset, isn't it?
100%, yeah. And it's something, unfortunately, I know it is in other places, but I feel like Northern Ireland, we are definitely more prone to that scarcity victim mindset, which I think there are more and more people popping up that you can follow that are trying to lead by example to get us out of that mindset, to be more progressive in everything that we're doing. So yeah, there's no excuse not to go out there and You're not even joining a group. You're not a cult, right? If you get in, you can always leave, but it's just going out there. Be uncomfortable, because everybody else in the room is uncomfortable as well. And it's fine.
Listen, Eimear, thank you so much for coming on board. What I'm going to take away is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Is the takeaway from me here.
100%.
I really appreciate taking the time. I really enjoyed that, and hopefully somebody hears something that they need to hear and they can get out of their own way too. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.